August the 16th. Not today is August 16th, 2026. It's on a Sunday. Let's go back to August 16th, 1977. 1977. I was 14 years old. Mom had just served dinner. Mom had just put supper on the table. So I sat down. We had fried potatoes, and I was eating fried potatoes. Now, my dad was in the living room with the TV and heard my dad yell. He first yelled my mom's name. He said, "Helen, Mom's, I'm busy. You got to come in here. I can still hear her. You got to come in here. It's time for supper. I'm putting dinner on the table." And I can hear him coming through the hallway. Dad said, "You'll never guess who died about an hour ago. You'll never guess in a million years who died approximate an hour ago. Elvis. Elvis Presley was pronounced dead at Baptist Memorial Hospital in Memphis, Tennessee." Now that changed everything. Now, I wouldn't know what you call Elvis fan then, but I heard enough of his songs on the radio. Back in those days, at my age, you just didn't go buy music. I don't know if really anybody in the family that was a music buyer go out here and buy records. But I knew who he was because they played him on the radio. And wow, my mom had forgot all about supper. She goes into the living room, not thinking. Dad says, "Why are you going to the living room?" Back in those days, we only had 3 channels. Dad says that they just can't. They probably won't bring on the news bulletin. It come on as a news bulletin. It didn't matter. We all followed her in the living room, waiting for some more breaking news. Back in those days, you didn't have no convenience in life. You had to wait. You could turn on the WLW radio, but information in those days was very limited. You people in 2026, you got it so easy today. You really do. But back to August 16th, 1977, we ate our supper. And the world news finally come on at 6:30. And they only had a few. They didn't have a lot on him. No. Well, time the world news come on, he'd only been dead 3 hours. Mom said, "I wonder why they didn't have a lot on him." Dad said, "Well, time they get the news, they got to edit the news, they got to write the news out, and they got to okay it, I'm sure, make sure it's okay to go over the airwaves. It's a lot of work to put the news on." And I'm pausing for this car. And Dad told Mom he's only been dead 3 hours, so they haven't had time to organize. And so that's how we learned of I learned of Elvis Presley dying. I mean, I knew him, but I was 14, you know. I've been listening to his songs on. Uh, I don't think we had a record player. I'm trying to think if we had a record player or not. But back in those days, you really didn't. Some of my cousin bought quite a number of records, but I think mom may have had a few albums somebody's given to her. What I'm trying to say is, what I remember today, you spend a lot more money on electronics, on entertainment. Back in those days, I don't remember us doing that. Yeah, we had a collection of albums and records, but they was given to us. You know, I don't know. It just back in my days, life was just different. You know, I don't know. We just lived differently. Life was slower. And my mom and dad, they was more old school. They grew up in the 1950s, so they didn't they wouldn't just shop till you drop. No, it was nothing like that. You know, today it's all you see: pizza order, pizza order, pizza order, pizza order. Online shopping, Amazon, online shopping. Get it in 2 days prime. The world has changed since I was 14 years old. Back in my days, you might have shopped on the Sears Spiegel catalog once a year. You know, the online world, what people don't realize, there's more money now. Sorry for the loud traffic. Little repeat, because that car was loud to me. I don't know how loud it was to you, but what you may not realize, the online world today is a lot more money. Money is easier, technically it is. It's easier to make today in your pajamas. All you do is click, click, and you're done. There's a lot more money today being made than there was when I was 14 years old. You know, back in my days, you had to go physically out to, you had to go outside and physically work at a company or a factory or whatever. You don't have to do that today. You can do it all online if you wish. So, yeah, you got it a million times easier today than what I had it when I was 14 years old. Today, if he would have died today, you have hundreds of channels to find out more information on him. sorry about that. I don't know what that was. A gnat got in my throat. But today, even made my eyes red. You know, it had to be a little serious. Today, you got hundreds of channels. If he would have died today, you have hundreds of channels to find out what happened to him. In my days, you had 3 channels on the radio. So in my eyes, your life is a million times easier today. A million.